I'm interested that Helen was almost 34 years old when she made this painting, and yet it's a very strong statement and really seems like a very mature aspect of her work.
Yeah, I think so, and also that this is exactly a decade after Mountains and Sea, which is generally thought to be her sort of breakthrough work, so that in effect this is almost like the beginning of a whole second phase of her career, at a time when many artists are really only getting going in the first phase of their career, but she has all this stuff behind her and then is drastically simplifying her means in the early 1960s.
Another aspect of the piece that I think is very strong and very striking is the balance or the interplay between the areas of color and the white space of the surrounding canvas. And that seems to really give the work a sense of airiness and a kind of breathing quality that makes it almost feel alive.
You know, the method obviously is very intuitive and accepting of chance. This is actually part of the wonderful pleasure the picture provides, that you sort of try to recapitulate for yourself what the process was.
I recall words that you wrote about Helen's work of this period, and you said it is affirmatively of its time, but exceptional within it. And to me, that's a very apt way to describe what was going on in her work. It was not only a transitional moment for her, but also there were so many changes happening in the art world generally. And it's so interesting to think about in what ways her work was responding to some of those things and reverberating with certain attributes being explored by other artists, and in which ways she was really sticking with her own quite personal vocabulary.
It is, I think, characteristic of her whole work, this willingness to, take chances, and while, as you say, there's always a relationship to something else, whether it was abstract expressionism in the 50s or whether it's color field in the 60s. In a funny way, I think the constraint of all that actually provided freedom for her.
I do think that in the case of this exhibition, we see so many different aspects of her work in a relatively short period. We see how she's referencing art history and earlier artists. We see her experiments with a new medium. We see her drawing with color expanding in a different direction. And I think it's a very rich and fertile couple of years for Helen that is very well represented in the selections in this exhibition.